I can give another question. We covered that the last part also. Try the question from that. I have given 4 questions up to now. Cover the introduction, then the process, then significance, then the significance of skills. Now we are going to write a question on new management. Last part. Right, then describe how modern managers should develop their competencies. How modern managers should develop their competencies to match with the describe how modern managers should develop their competencies to match with the modern workplace. To match with the modern workplace. So for that also 10 marks. We have 2 diagrams, no? First one is to understand how an individual should present into our managerial identity for the workplace. But then second one was used to compare the old workplace, the differences in the old workplace and the new workplace. Can consider both in writing the answer. Right, these are the revision questions I can give to cover up the key points, learning points we discussed in the first lesson. That's the foundation. Now in this, you can easily follow up the other lessons. But those are different. Then we move. Independent is. So remove that. So see there. I like this. Somebody else knew that, but I didn't knew that. My bad. Akhirnya mana ni? Nah, pun tu cara yang dia. Macam ni kan? Magalat ni dia. Ya betul ni kita beli. Ni kan? Meeting? Johan. Udah boleh ni ada kan? Tahu ikan kau ni ada ni. Nah, dan mah ini mereka jauh belakang. Ada yang ada sama. Biar kita balas. Oh ni. Oh, udah ban. Ini kalau mau sedikit lebih. You didn't see what was happening. Tadi ke bulan ni. Yeah. But yeah, page here. Do signatures here. Right. LMS එක නම් දැනට මේ අවුලන්නේ කොහොමද දාලා තිබ්බේ. නෑ ආවට පස්සේ ඔයා මේ අනාතේ මම එන්ඩ්‍රොයිඩ් ගියුවා. ඔව්. Python තවාවනේ ඩිස්කනෙක්ට් කරලා ඒක තමයි මේ කතපාඩි ගන්න. මගේ කොහොමද මේ අපිට तो मेजर ओके नहीं मैंने ओके आप फाइल से नहीं मैंने
तो सुकून बोले का
हां मार तेरा है नहीं वे आकिन तमा वे रहे हैं बस इतनी बार है नहीं मार भी अभी तक ठीक है तब वे अरे मित्र तो मन देखे ने यार अरे राइट Okay. The folder is there. Then we will move to the second one. Right. It's the evolution. Evolution is that the historical development of management concepts for theory or thinking. And these are the learning outcomes. For this, we can use a diagram. But before that, we will identify major forces influence this evolution of management principles. That these principles, same principles can be practiced by many. So we can use these terms interchangeably. These practices cannot be separated. Both are interchangeable. Right. Then after that, using a diagram, we will identify two baskets. Use two baskets to place these different theories introduced as early historical trends and recent historical trends. In the evolution, we have to consider trends of management or managerial trends. these trends can be put into two baskets. We study the history. The one basket can be treated as the early historical trends in management. The other basket can be treated as the recent historical trends in management. That's how we can divide the group, the different theories of management and organization in this lesson. But before that, to do this happen, there are reasons or causes, antecedents. These antecedents or causes, reasons can be identified as the forces, major forces influence this evolution. Even now, in future, it happens. But the modern theories would come to the history. Like that, we will continue that. Another generation will embark on then that. Then all everything discussed today comes to the history. It's a continuation. Right. Then I took these from a book, but we can expand the number of forces influence organization and management practices. Therefore, the things what we discussed in the third lesson, this lesson can be taken similarly as the different forces, environmental forces. Right. As a sample, you can have a look on these, but you better expand these to match with the 6 environmental forces we are going to study in the next lesson. Otherwise, there can be difference. Right. Then what's the first one? First force that we should identify and consider today. Influencing anything, including management. First one. What is that? I got here. So cultural forces. That's not mentioned here, but I said that we should include this one. Right. First one is what? Online members. Can you tell us what's the first dimension? Force influencing all of us, not only to management. Today, we are in such a world, or such a village, and suddenly Gantasi Clark sick, lonely. That's a globalization of global forces. Right. Global forces are the number one. No? Number one. Right. The global products, services, technologies, and other needs influence us on a regular basis. It also influences management thinking as well, practices as well. Right. Then global forces. Right. Then next one, technological forces. The way of doing or way of using technology in organizations as well as in our normal life. That's the second one. It is also affected by the changes in the globalization, global platform. That's why we took that as number one, globalization or global forces. Right. Then economy. It is given here. The third one can be taken as the economic forces. Now we are in market economies, no? Those economies are considered as the market economy or mixed economy. Right, market economies. In which organizations are trying to enhance their profit and other goals, profitability and other goals. The wealth creation and management. Then socio-cultural. Next to economic forces, we can consider socio-cultural. Okay? Not social, socio-cultural, socio-cultural forces. How people relate, how they live, what are their values, or what they value. What are the things govern their behavior in different locations, no, in the world. Those are basically considered as also cultural forces. In a country also, we have. In Sri Lanka also, we have different society and a culture. In an organization also, there is a culture. Right then, next one, political and legal. No, we can combine legal also with political. Political and legal forces, or political hyphen legal, as mentioned in so cultural, political, legal forces. Laws, regulations, no, political systems, government also comes here. Government bodies, role of government policies, regulations. Then legal statutes, laws, rules, all affect our behavior. And organizations also should, managers also should make decisions to comply with these external things. In the macro environment or external environment. Right. There's another one. Now it is the most dominant one actually, more powerful than globalization. What is that? Global warming, climate changes, all come under natural events, power shortage, which cannot be controlled at all. No? That's the natural causes. Natural causes. Right. Then the ongoing influences of these major forces, right, definitely affect the way managers should practice these theories, concepts, models, principles, etc. at the organizational level. Right. Then altogether we had 6 dimensions, 6 forces. No? Started with the global forces. Right. That's how we can expand this one. These are only 3 forces. Right. But the first learning outcome goes with that, no? Has to understand the major forces influencing the evolution of managerial practices. Right. Okay, no? Then in the next lesson also, we will redo that. We'll revisit that. Right. Then I will have come to the main part. Then, as I said, the different perspectives in management can be put into the 2 buckets, 2 boxes mentioned on the website. What are the 2 boxes? In one box, we see consider early historical trends in management. In the second, we consider the recent historical trends in management. Right. Under the early historical trends, with the keywords, technical words, we can identify 3 thinking patterns, or 3 approaches, or 3 perspectives in management. What are these? First one is the classical perspective, the pioneer one. Then humanistic perspective. Then quantitative or management science perspective. Right. Then recent historical trends started with the system thinking. To describe the management process also, I said that was based on the system theory or system thinking or system perspective. That's the first one. Considered under the modern approaches to management or under the recent historical trends in management. Right. Next one, the situational view or the contingency view. Or theory, situational theory or the contingency theory in management. Right. Then these are some new buzzwords in management. Total quality management, the technology-driven workplace, collaboration, open collaborative innovations are also new, very new techniques or trends seen in management. Right. Then all these altogether can be considered as different approaches. or different perspectives to manage. Or in other terms, as per our topic name, all these can be considered or used to describe the evolution of management thinking. Right. Better to use a diagram like this, no? Then we can simplify. These are very complex terms, theories, but we can easily understand it by simplifying in this manner. We have to go step by step to describe a complex thing. Otherwise, it is boring. Very difficult to grab and to tell another, explain to another. Right. Then, as the main diagram, you can use this diagram, no, to easily study this very complex topic, historical trends in management or evolution of management. This is the way you are also teaching. Huh? This is one way. And then one by one we can consider them. Any questions or clarifications about the so far discussed new lesson? Second lesson, any questions? For the first lesson, I gave questions. Some questions are due to provide the answers at home as a revision. Yeah, at the end of this, I'll give some questions for this as well. We will have a quiz also, no, in the classroom under the continuous assessment part. And then now our next task is to describe them, no, one by one. It may be boring to you and to me as well. Right, the first one we considered as the classical perspective. That's the perspective of the approach. In a perspective of approach in a view, we can identify different schools of theories. Different theories introduced by different gurus. Right. Then the first theory we should look at under the classical perspective is what? In red color words I have given this. That what is that? Scientific management or scientific school. Gurukule. Not Pasala. Scientific management. Who introduced that? It's a mechanical engineer and a factory owner, not a manager actually, an engineer. F.W. Taylor is Taylor. Therefore, Taylor is considered as the father of not management, father of scientific management. He is the father of scientific management. F.W. Taylor. He was a mechanical engineer. Right. Most engineers then time started doing things in management. That's how management evolved. But these classical theories like Taylor and others gave their ideas based on what? What's the discipline? Economics, no? Economics. All this happened, boomed after the Industrial Revolution. Then most of these ideas have been already explained to the world by economists like Adam Smith, David Ricardo, Alfred Marshall, even Keynes. Those classical economics ideas have been converted as the managerial ideas by these pioneers. Right. Then F.W. Taylor is considered as the father of scientific management. The scientific management under the main pillar of classical perspective emphasize to use scientific methods as managerial practices. What's the aim of doing that? The main key aim, even today we have considered it as part of management, What is that? To enhance the efficiency. They might be forgetting effectiveness. That's the limitation to address those limitations, not considering much on effectiveness and more considering efficiency than other theories, especially the humanistic perspective and the theories under that were presented by other behavioral scholars. These are the classical scholars, right, in management. Then the scientific management introduced by Taylor, right, emphasize managers to use scientific methods as they are in their managerial practices in order to enhance the efficiency. Right. But this is enhanced productivity. But productivity includes both efficiency and effectiveness, no? When we define that. Right. But they mainly focus on the efficiency, to increase the efficiency, not to enhance the effectiveness, the other element that a manager should consider. Right. But anyhow, by then time, this should be a very noble thing, no? Noble thing brought by F.W. Taylor to the world, to the field of management. Even today, all these are applied. Without that, we can't run the organization in an efficient manner. We can't improve the productivity of the organization. Right. Right. What are the key principles mentioned in the scientific management by Taylor? He said that organizations or managers should use standard methods in all jobs. Right. Then they should select workers with the scientific methods in order to use their abilities for a job to enhance the efficiency of a job. After selecting, this says that managers should train workers using scientific methods or standard methods, like on the job training. No? Right. Then supervisors should support workers to plan and organize their work and to minimize the interruptions. Right. That is also to enhance the efficiency of the work, of the worker. Right. Then to motivate the workers, the main incentive identified by the scientific management is what? The financial incentives, wage incentives. Even today, it should be used, but in addition to the wage, there are many other incentives we should consider today. Non-financial incentives also should be given, combined with the financial incentives. But in that time, the main motivational factors identified by the managers and owners and researchers even during that period are the financial incentives. What is the financial incentives? They are the wage workers, not the salary workers at that time. Based on the number of units they produce, then their wages were calculated. Even today, such a system is there. Here, there are some of the part-time workers we use that method now, especially for the workers in the manufacturing sector. We use that. Then overall, these are the key principles in the scientific management introduced by F.W. Taylor as the pioneer of scientific management or the father of scientific management. Main aim of these is to enhance the efficiency of the job and the job holder. Don't memorize these, just consider the keywords and their applicability, relations. First, you have to consider the main focus of the method. Then after that only, you have to consider the key principles used in that method. Method was a philosophy. Right. Any questions about the scientific management and the underlying principles of that introduced by Taylor? That's the start of the classical perspective. The first perspective of management. But we are studying today. No questions. We will continue now. Please too early to have a break. We will continue little more and have a break now. Right. Then this guru, management guru, he was a sociologist, German sociologist, Max Weber. Taylor was a mechanical engineer. Weber was a German sociologist, Samaj Vidyali. He only introduced this bureaucratic principle, so bureaucratic theory. That is also considered under another key contribution in the or to the classical perspective in management. Then, what's the basic features or main focus of bureaucratic theory or bureaucratic organizations? It says that the theory introduced by Weber says that these organizations should be managed or run on rational basis and very impartial. Even today, these features are happening in most of the organizations. To a certain level, we have to run an organization independent, impartial, or on a rational basis. That's why we consider even in a small business, we try to change the business from the ownership. That is one example. And we try to have a particular gap with in dealing with employees and dealing with customers and consumers. Otherwise, we can't run. Ensure the formal function, administrative smooth function of the organization. Even and that is done now. That is happening today, but not fully at 100%. Right. That's the main focus of the bureaucracy or bureaucratic organizations introduced by Max Weber. It is somewhat different from the main focus of the scientific management, but the two are similar. The focus of this is also to enhance the efficiency to achieve the smooth administrative function of the organization. In that sense, both are very similar. That's why both have been accommodated under the same classical perspective of management. Right. These ideas have also emerged from the economist ideas. Even division of labor was initially introduced by whom? Adam Smith, no? In 1776. Right. Relating to the pin manufacturing industry. Even I am using that to mark the papers. I do mark in question marks. It is following the division of labor. It is very speed. We can increase the length of work by 10 times or more than. Then in our day-to-day life, even in organization, we do that. Division of labor or segregation of tasks, division of labor, task specialization is a must. Even for today. Otherwise, we can't enhance. Managers can enhance, workers cannot enhance their efficiency. Therefore, they can't compete with others if they are using and but we are not using these things. Right. That is one. Division of labor or task specialization is number one. Then hierarchy of authority. All positions in an organization should be organized in a hierarchy levels. Under managerial levels, we identify 3 levels. No? That follows managerial hierarchy. There's a worker level also next to the supervisory management. That also comes to the hierarchy. Under organizing, I will explain these concepts in detail. Right. Then third bureaucratic principle is what? managers should use rules and procedures, or they should ask people to follow rules and procedures to ensure the expected or predictable behavior to a certain level. Right, that is to discipline people in an organization. That is very important. No? That's what we are lacking as a nation. We see on the roads and everywhere, no, we are much panic, no? We are not patient. And not work actually. First, we have to be disciplined. Discipline first. In future also, we have to consider this as human beings. Right. Then next principle is managers. That's what I mentioned in giving that example. Managers are the agents appointed for an organization to make decisions or to run the business on behalf of owners. Then they should be separated from the owners. Even in a small business organization, it happens, no? The owners have this mindset. Right. Sometimes in small businesses, the same owner makes all managerial decisions. Then they have owner manager positions. But they have that sense in the mind, no? What is that? Though the business is run by family members, they have that principle. No? We should separate the business to a certain level from our familyhood. But in a company, it is 100%. See, no, in a company, as per the company law, the company's managers are separated from the owners. The managers, there are board of directors. There's a board of director board. There are directors in the board. Right. They are separated from the owners. Owners are the shareholders or stockholders of a company, like Mr. Ramika Pereira. He is the major shareholder for most companies, no? But he influences the board of directors also. At Rosell and all, no? But Sampath there. Aries. But practically, the principle says we should separate, but the owners directly influence the managers. Practice is different, huh? Right? But to a certain level, even Mr. Ramika should follow this. Otherwise, he cannot serve as a major shareholder or an owner of a group of companies. Right. The next one, administrative acts and decisions should be recorded in online or in writing, in hard copies. Right. Then we have to record, no? Performance evaluations, all statutory reports should be kept in files. Today, companies are using information systems for that, or sometimes clouding systems, or databases, or data warehouses. Right. But all come obey this principle set by Maxwell under the bureaucratic organization. Right. Next one, employees should be selected and they should be promoted looking at their technical qualifications. Even today, all businesses follow this, no? Should follow. Even Japanese businesses follow this. Earlier, they consider only the seniority. Most Japanese companies. Now they are considered seniority, not only the seniority and the merit performance there together. That is called NENCO. NEN follows the seniority. CO follows the performance. Technical performance. Right. Therefore, companies all over the world, even today in future, comply with this one, last one. Not with the last one, with all these. Right. Therefore, Max Weber's, Taylor, they are physically not with us, but their ideas are always with us. Their contribution and ideas are always with us. We follow them. Right. That's how the second theory mentioned under the classical perspective or classical approach as bureaucratic organizations by Weber should be understood. Any other questions or clarifications? No. The main focus of this is also to enhance the worker productivity, work efficiency, or improve the smooth administrative function of an organization, of a business. Right, then you have to consider this him also. Therefore, he is considered as the father of overall management. Who is that? 25 He covered many areas under this, many principles under this. Importantly, you have to consider the 14 principles. He considered as all organizations should equally follow these 14 principles. Therefore, they are considered as the universal 14 principles introduced by ND5 or as the universal 14 principles in management. Right. Then I have mentioned them one by one in 2 slides, I think. Or we can call this as the administrative theory. Administrative theory. It brings these principles. Therefore, I have mentioned there as administrative principles. You can call this as also as administrative theory introduced by Kayakta. Right. The main focus, as I mentioned, the main focus of presenting these principles is to visualize a total holistic organization in managing. Right. Therefore, even today, these 14 principles should be followed by any organization. All 14 principles should be followed by any organization. To present it as a total organization, total business. Right. Then some of them have been already mentioned by the other 2 scholars in classical, scientific management and bureaucratic organization. Right. First one is the division of labor. Right. There are a small explanation of that. These principles are given. And what happens in the division of labor? Work is specialized, to do that in a better way and to make a maximum effort, right? And to enhance the efficiency of the work, right? Then authority and responsibility. Managers should have authority to carry out their responsibility, or to all managers and employees are responsible to carry out their task or the job, even formally by the authority, hierarchy of authority. Then discipline. In the bureaucracy also we noted that rules and regulations should be used by organizations or managers to govern the behavior. Right. Unity of command. In a hierarchy, though there is a hierarchy, one subordinate should have only one immediate boss to report. Or one, that is called unity of command. Or one supervisor should have immediate subordinates. Right. He or she cannot command others in the hierarchy. That's what this principle says. It is there in order to minimize the complexities of managing, of advising subordinates or reporting to the boss. The subordinates should know whom to report clearly in the hierarchy. But there are some exceptions for the unity of command. One exception is that the matrix relationship, where the worker or executive can report to the normal boss as well as to another one, project manager. There are exceptions. Right. Then unity of direction. Similar activities in an organization should be grouped together under one manager. That's the opposite of the unity of command. Unity of command, then unity of direction. Right. Subordination of individual interest to the organizational interest. That is to achieve the goal congruence. Through motivation incentives, the employee should be influenced or directed to achieve the group goals and organizational goals finally. That is another basis. Even today, all organizations are following that. No, all the senior managers expect that from each and every employee. Not only to satisfy their personal goals, but to finally help to achieve the organizational goals. Goals should be achieved. That is said as the goal congruency. No? Achieving the goal congruency. Then remuneration of staff, the incentives, benefits, rewards given to the staff or employees should be fair and equitable. Right. Then this should have come before this, no? The 7 principles should have come before the 6 plus. If so, then definitely that can be achieved. Right. If this is achieved, then definitely employees will contribute, no? To the organizational goals at the maximum capacity of them. But anyhow, we should not worry about the order of these principles, but these have been presented as 14 universal principles of management by way of that. Right, there are another 7 in the next slide. Right, then the 8th one is the centralization. The opposite is what? Decentralization. Therefore, when you study centralization, if decentralization has not been mentioned, you should know the other opposite side as well. Right. But the centralization focuses to use the authority of in the hands of the upper level of managers, senior managers. Right. Mostly, I think the CEOs or the managing directors of the organization tries to use them in most of the cases. But there are cases looking at the situation and the readiness capacity of the lower level, middle level managers, lower level managers and employees. These board of directors can shift the power, authority, or delegate the power to the other levels as well. Right. That is called decentralization. But centralization or decentralization has been initially explained by Henry Fayol under these universal 14 principles of management. Even today, this happens in most organizations or in all organizations. Then 9th one is the scalar principle. There is another one, similar one for this. Scalar principle means scale, not scalar principle, scalar chain, no, scalar chain. This is the one I said as what is called chain of command. Chain of command. Right. Chain of command. Then okay, this way. No need of considering other one, but other one is the other part of the scalar chain or the chain of command. I will describe that in organizing lesson. Right. This says that all positions of an organization or the authority of the positions of an organization should extend from the top level to the lowest level in a chain. Then the part. That is what to ensure everything happens with the respective order. Or everybody follows the respective order for the command. Right. These are highly seen in military organizations, in armies, army forces. But similar managerial practices in military forces can be seen in other commercial organizations. That's our managerial concepts evolved mainly from military management during the ancient periods. Then order. Both human and material resources should be well coordinated in order to ensure they are at the right place, at the right time, at the right amount, or at the right quality. Right. That is called order. It's another principle. Even today, It is much considered in the human resource management also, no? Under talent management, human capital management, or under the career planning and development, no? Career planning and development. These HR functions are there to ensure this one. But I also said long ago, to maintain the order. Right. The particular talent should be ensured, no, placed at the right position at the right time, right, at the right point. For talent management, modern human resource management. Right. Therefore, it is okay to consider this these, no, to build a total organization. It is correct, no? As mentioned at the beginning. It is correct. In all these principles are practiced in an organization that can be brought as a total organization. Right. Equity. It deals with the motivation, employee motivation. There's a theory called equity theory. It says that people should be treated by the organization to match with the contribution, performance they give for the group or the organized unit. Right. Otherwise, they will frustrate and do things in opposite ways expected, what expected by managers. Right. Then stability of staff is the that's what I mentioned now. If equity is not maintained, then this should happen. The organization managers cannot expect the stability of the staff. That means they would not remain in the organization for a longer period of time. If so, if they see the iniquity, then they would frustrate and over time they will leave from the organization. That is called turnover, no? Staff turnover. Attrition of staff turnover. To avoid that, to minimize that, this principle should be achieved, stability of the staff. But this can be achieved if equity is there. Equity is perceived by the worker. Equity means the fair treatment by managers today. Then 13th one is initiative. That is similar to the work empowerment. What we discussed today as work empowerment or work engagement. Then all initiatives should not be done by managers. The subordinates also should be given a certain level of freedom to do initiatives. But the manager should see the ability of doing that, not from workers. They also should show the ability and the willingness and the confidence to make responsibilities. Then only managers can empower them. Last one is similar to what? It comes with the Latin terms, Latin words, esprit de corps. It is similar to the teamwork, group work, teamwork we consider today. Right. It is the teamwork, team spirit, sense of belonging to a unit. Right. Those are the new things that we discuss in organizational behavior, no? Under groups and teamwork. Therefore, all these 14 principles bring different no? Competencies of management, different areas in management. Therefore, we can agree with the what it says at the beginning. The main focus of the administrative principles is to build a total organization, total business organization. That is correct. Right. But in addition to this, Fayon is the one who talk about planning, organizing, leading, controlling. It identified different areas of management. Right. But I have highlighted these only. Yeah. So these are very popular. 14 principles introduced by him. Right. Okay. We started at 8:01 now. Now we took about. You will go up to 2:30, no? We have a break. Go up to 2:30. Right. You are leaving? Okay. Okay. Thanks. Right. If any problem, I will call up and use you. Right. Right. Okay. Right. What you are doing here? You are undertaking some classes also?
Yes, sir.
Lecture classes?
Yeah. Right.
He's doing economics.
Yeah, it's really.
Okay. Ahead on. Right, then with these three, we can consider the classical perspective. Under that, we consider three theories or three perspectives. First one, scientific management, introduced by F.W. Taylor. Therefore, he is considered as the father of scientific management, not management. Then we consider bureaucracy or bureaucratic organization, introduced by the Max Weber, the German sociologist. Therefore, he is considered, I didn't say that. Max Weber is considered as the father of bureaucracy, father of bureaucratic theory, bureaucracy. There are many, many fathers. Less mothers, no? There's a mother coming to this. Mary Parker College. Mary Parker College. Should be considered as the mother of management, actually. Yeah. Some writers say so. Mother of management. Then, now we consider the third one. In classical perspective, what is that? Administrative theory or administrative principles introduced by Henry Fayol. Earlier we noted another Henry, no? In the first lesson. Who is that? Henry Winsberg, who introduced 10 roles of management. Still, he lives as a contemporary management guru like Peter Drucker. Right. He introduced the role approach, but no use of father to him so far. But we can call him as father of management roles, managerial roles, because he introduced those 10 roles first. Then that's how we should consider the very important perspective in management, classical perspective, with these three stools and the principles under each of them. But these principles, some principles are overlapping each other, no? That should happen. That's why these three have been placed in the same basket. Right. Then we'll do part of a humanistic perspective also, fully that. Online students are in touch, no? Right. But this is also coming under the same basket. Early historical training is the second early historical training management next to the classical perspective. This is called as humanistic perspective. Therefore, the humanistic term relates with the human orientation or human side of organizations and societies. That has been presented to address many limitations of using the classical perspectives. There is had in the classical perspective. I explained that at the beginning. No? Principles mentioned on the classical perspective emphasize to enhance the work efficiency. They might be treating workers as machines, people as machines. They had that understanding about the workers. Therefore, they considered that as machines, if forces are given, if rules and regulations are placed, if plans are set, work is organized, then rules, I mentioned that, no? If money is given, everything cannot be done by workers as expected by managers. It happens, but to a certain level, but in a perfect setup. Right. Then, while considering those the technical features, right? Managers also should consider human features. Then only they can have a perfect work life, no organizational life, right? That's the main idea of coming or bringing humanistic perspective and underlying principles. That's the second pillar of evolution of management, right? This perspective, humanistic perspective, emphasizes the importance of understanding human behaviors, worker behaviors, and their needs, attitudes, right, and their interactions, social interactions. But 25 knows, no? So 14 universal principles had some of these features. Right. That's why I agree with that term, total organization. But there were some limitations. To fulfill those limitations, this humanistic perspective with these contributions emerge. Right. As the first part of the humanistic perspective, we have to consider the contribution of these early advocates or pioneers. Right. Then this is the mother I mentioned. Mary Parker Follett is one pioneer, one early advocate to the humanistic perspective. Another one is you all might be heard of this one, Chester Bernard, one practicing manager, I think mainly at General Electric of USA. He has written a lot of books. The Functions of the Executive is the renowned book written by him. Right. Mary Parker Follett is another scholar pioneer, female pioneer in this area. Right. Then we will move to this next. First, we will look at the contribution of these two early advocates. Right. Then Mary Parker Follett belonged to this period, emphasized the concept like worker participation, shared goals, common managers or goal congruency I mentioned. Then leadership, importance of leadership, the importance of empowering workers, rather than only using these engineering techniques and in the classical perspective. Right. She is the one who defined management using the term art. She considered management definition to say it is an art of getting things done through and with people. Right. Then to deal with the arts of management, not only the science of management, those concepts should be looked by managers. What are the concepts? Worker participation, shared goals, leadership, empowerment, right, which are very artistic things in management, artistic concepts. Leadership is an art, not a science. Management is the science. Leadership is an art. Teamwork is an art. No? Participation to teamwork is an art. Right. Therefore, they really should first goes to the Mary Parker Follett. Therefore, we can call as mother of management. Right. Like Mother Teresa. Right. Then Chester Bernard, not second to her and others, he also gave significant contributions using the concepts like informal organization. It includes in the formal organization. Then social groups, social cliques, social groups, theory of authority. These are the key concepts he shared in his writings, through his writings. Informal communication, informal organization, all are what he initially mentioned, shared with us. Right. Therefore, their early contributions might be used by other theorists and scholars put in this humanistic perspective. That's why this subheading has been identified as early advocates. Without this early advocating, these theories might not be evolving. presented by others. But without the classical perspectives and the theories, these might not be considered. Looking at their limitations, these theories, perspectives emerge to fill the gap. That's the meaning of the evolution. To fill the limitations of the early theories, the next set of theories should be present. Therefore, we can't forget the things mentioned in the early theories. We have to continue with it. Right. Then the second next pillar in the humanistic perspective is what? The human relations movement. Human relations movement. Or human relations perspective. Or human relations approach. Writers use these different labels to indicate the same. Right. The landmark of present in the having the human relations movement is what? Landmark. What the phenomenon? Because of what this evolved. Nothing else there. Hawthorne studies. Hawthorne findings or Hawthorne studies done by Elton, Mario and others in Chicago. The Hawthorne factory. Hawthorne studies were carried out in different stages. Right. Initially, actually, then factory owners had the understanding of the productivity with the determinants of physiological factors like lighting, right, space, lighting, work conditions, other physical work conditions. Only determine the worker productivity is the understanding at that time. But one time, whenever these physical conditions went down, then productivity of the workers increased. Then they had a doubt of saying not only physical conditions, there are some other things, hidden things affecting the worker productivity. Right. Then to know that, Elton, Mayo and his associates were invited to have the Hawthorne studies by the factory owners. Then they have done a marvelous study and came out with the Hawthorne legacy, Hawthorne findings. It is the landmark of path given to the evolution of all other subjects like organizational behavior, human resource management, and other psychological theories, and everything used by today. Right. The human relations movement is based on the idea that effective control comes from within the individual worker rather than from authoritarian control of the managers or supervisors. They can do, but employee behavior cannot be fully controlled by the managers or supervisors. They have their own agendas when they work. It's true now. We see that now. To a certain level, even in a classroom, in the schools, the teacher, the principal can control the children's behavior to a certain level. They have their own life. That happens. In the university also same. We should understand this. We can't fully control worker behavior. In this classroom also same. We can guide you to a limited level. We can't control you fully. Right. Human behavior is such complex. The complexity, true nature of the complexity of human behavior was initially understood by the Hawthorne studies, Hawthorne findings. Right. Then evolved. This movement evolves and other things evolved with the Hawthorne studies carried out during this period. It proposed that workers respond primarily to the social context of work. Context means the environment, work environment, context, possibility, including social condition, group norms, and interpersonal dynamics or relationships, and the manager's concern for the workers would lead to increased worker satisfaction and improved worker performance. That means, without considering these hidden factors, right, happening among workers, without considering, the managers cannot use managerial techniques and their commands, right, to get the maximum productivity. Even today, managers should know that. Because they have to increase not only the performance, but also the worker satisfaction. Both should be enhanced. Not only one. These are two ends. The two go in two directions, no? Two directions. But the two things going in two directions should be taken to one platform. That's the manager's difficult job today. To do that, they should know the hints given by the Hawthorne findings. Workers try to consider the context to which they belong in working, and they try to have a social condition. They have their own group norms. Then they try to develop and maintain different interpersonal dynamics as they wish while working. Right. Then a manager should have the concerns of these, but only to satisfy their own wishes as managers. Recently, we had to practice it day before yesterday. We had actually in the observation we noted there are a lot of commands, indications on continuous improvement and productivity improvement, but workers are having their own styles of doing the things in case. Otherwise, managers cannot control it, manage it. Otherwise, they will organize in trade unions and labor unions. Our setup is different when we compare with Japanese organizations. Right, then this is another perspective, under the humanistic perspective, another theory that is called human resources perspective. This is discussed with the classical motivational theories. As another lesson also, we will describe work motivation, but here we will identify the basic theories of motivation. Right. Then before this, we will have a break for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Coming back, we will continue the lesson from this point. Still, we are in the humanistic perspective, in the middle of the humanistic perspective. Okay, online participants also can have your own break for about 15 to 20 minutes. Right. After that, we will continue the lesson from this point. Yes, similar number of participants to the first day. Yeah, I feel the length is similar. In the overall class, there are about 34-35 members. With online, there can be 40, about 40. Object testing. Object testing. Break के पालन किया तो Right, we have come back and continue, right? Online participants, yeah. Anyway, but then the informal relations kept by workers while working were mainly initially found by the author studies. That's why its contribution with the results are highlighted under the subheading numerical movement here. But main heading is main subheading is humanistic perspective. Right. Right. Then next pillar in a humanistic perspective is human resource, not human relations. It was the previous one. This one is a human resource or human resources perspective or Italian perspective, no? Right. Then under human resource perspective, we have to consider the main motivational theories, right? In order to combine the job design and tasks of the jobs. Job design would be discussed under organizing and lesson again in details. And these motivational theories are also coming in the motivation lesson kept under reading. There we will use diagrams also. Here no diagrams, only the brief summaries can be presented. Right. Then under this many motivational theories presented, but I have in this slide we have to consider only two of them. What are the two of them? Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory and the XY theory introduced by McGregor. Actually, these two theories compared to other motivational theories can give more information about the human aspects in organizations or of organizations. Right. Then Abraham Maslow as a late American psychologist, not a sociologist, American psychologist, because all motivational theories were presented by classical psychologists. Right. It comes before sociology. Right. To study the individual behavior, person behavior. In sociology, we have to study group behavior or interpersonal behaviors. Right. Then the role of psychological theories is to understand the individual motivation, our inner motivation process. Right. Then, as an American psychologist, Abraham Maslow, that's the pioneer in presenting motivational theories as well. Introduce needs hierarchy theory. In a triangle, we can present those that needs hierarchy with 5 needs. What are the 5 needs we consider or propose? At the lower level, we have to consider physiological needs, not psychological, physiological. Physiological, satisfying our 5 senses. Body, to satisfy the body. Otherwise, we can't survive. We have hunger needs, thirsty, shelter, other sanitary facilities. No. Then manager should know that all employees should consider this physiological when they work. Right. Next one, safe. But during the pandemic period, we had the most concern on safety. Now it has come to the normal. But we should worry about. Right. Then love and belonging. It's a social need. Or some writers call the combination of love and belongings as social needs. It is the third level after the physiological and the safety needs. We all consider these five needs at any time, any given time throughout our life. Therefore, in living means what? Satisfying these five needs by us interchangeably. Nothing else. Till we die, we do that. Engage in this motivational process day by day. But as an option to satisfy these common human needs, we try to be employed for an organization. We try to use our other paths to earn money and live in a society. Right. Then love and belonging needs can be considered as social needs. The fourth one is the esteem needs. Last one, fifth one is the actualization or self-actualization needs. The last two are very psychological needs. The first few are more physiological in nature. The love is psychological thing, not a physiological thing. Sex is a physiological thing. But we have to have both. Otherwise, we can't live. Both go together, love and sex. But don't, you have to see the limit of this one. Right, then that's Maslow's needs, five needs, considered with the five needs hierarchy is the pioneer motivational theory presented during this period. Right, under the human resource perspective. That is one pillar of the humanistic perspective. Second one. All these have been presented to support the human side, employee side, behavioral side of at work or in an organization. Then Douglas McGregor, considering the human side words in his paper, research work or book, presented this XY theory. These are two parts, two ends of human behavior. Under the human behavior, we have to consider both manager behavior and the worker behavior. Right. Actually, first we have to look at the worker behavior. Based on the identified worker behavior in these two ends categories as X and Y, right? X brings pessimistic ideas about the work, right? In the manager's mindset. Y theory, Y part of the theory brings the optimistic, positive ideas, assumptions about the worker behavior. Right. Then I will show the particular page of the ebook due to have that figure. It explains, presents these points and X and Y nicely. It remind me of. Otherwise, if you have looked into that, you might some of you might already noted. You have to have your self-orientation in studying this. Don't wait till I do the right. Then that's how XY theory introduced by McGregor should be used to understand the worker behavior and then the managerial behavior. But both can be considered under human behavior. Both are humans. Managers are also human beings. They have a lot of pressures. They have a family life also. They have a managerial life also. Sometimes they have undertaken these programs like MBA or BBA, BSc. They have another life. That is called academic life. Then they have to balance three lives, not only two. You also should balance three lives. If you are working, you have three lives. If you are not working, you have only two lives. Normal life and academic. If you are working while with these two, then you have three lives. It is very difficult to balance, but it is possible. Then under X assumptions, managers view employees as very lazy. right? Very passive, very lazy at work, very passive at work. Unless they are supervised by managers, they don't make an effort to enhance the efficiency to perform. But therefore, they are highly dependent. Those are the understandings or assumptions of a worker behavior negatively by managers under the X part of the theory introduced by McGregor. If you know one part, then you can easily know the other part. That is very opposite. Right. Then under the Y assumptions, managers mostly think that average workers are very responsible, accountable. They try to make their own effort. They try to plan the work, organize the work, and try to enhance the performance with the minimum supervision. But then when we look at individual behavior, we cannot locate any behavior into these two. Right. More with one side. In an organization also, the employee behavior can be located under these two. But worker to worker, we have to do that. Looking at the individual capacity. We can't generalize them. But when similar individuals are coming to the same group, then we can have a group in the S group. Others as the Y group. That happens. That's the idea behind the XY theory. It is a very basic form, very what is called pioneered as the basis theory to understand both worker behavior and managerial behavior. Right? Later we will use this in another lesson and some other lessons, especially in leadership lesson. Right. Then for the time being, only these two motivational theories can be used to describe the human resource perspective under the humanistic. Then is the next one, behavioral science approach under the humanistic perspective. We have to use the scientific methods as well as some other behavioral science and social science disciplines to understand the human behavior and their interactions in an organizational setting. Right. Therefore, all these are highly used in the subject called organizational behavior. Organizational behavior. Since you are in a center group, then you have to follow that OB. It will be exempted for you. It comes in the 30. 30 is the first year. It's in your 30 year. You would be exempted from that course. You have done that before, OB. But then you are familiar with this. Right. Then that subject is called organizational behavior or other behavioral science. That's why this approach is or perspective is considered as the behavioral science perspective and approach. Where in OB one subject is there, the latter part of the syllabus of OB as organizational change and development. Right. Then OD means organizational development. It's a value-based approach to be used by managers to improve the organizational setting. As per writers, there are 5 major organizational development techniques to be used by managers. One is team building, first one. Then intergroup development after the team building. Then another one is sensitivity training or team-based training. Then process consultation. They have to consult employees before introducing new thing. Otherwise, they would not support. They would resist without supporting. Right. Then last one is the survey feedback. They have to use feedback information. It happens not always in any planning effort. It should be done as the last step. These are the 5 major OB techniques when you do OB, but since it is expected, I have not know the lecturer. Earlier I did, I don't know this time. The lecturer would not share these things with you, but you have studied in OB. Right. Then organizational development evolved as a separate field that applied in behavioral sciences. OB is also applied behavioral science. The reason is that the knowledge of OB has been developed based on the other disciplines, borrowing from other disciplines like psychology. I said it now. Sociology, social psychology, the combination of the two, psychology and sociology. There's another subject called discipline called social psychology. Samaja Manovidya in single. Then anthropology, Manovidya, then all other social sciences have also helped to both management and OB. One major social science is economics. Then another one is history, another political science. Another maybe even not only social sciences, there are some natural sciences like medicine, engineering, health management. Right. To discuss a topic like stress management, we have to consider medicine. Right. The treatment should be based on the medicine, no? Medical doctors for the adverse level of the stress. Then we have to consult or psychological doctors or medical doctors. So physiotherapists. Right, then with this approach, managers can enhance the effectiveness, not the efficiency. All these humanistic perspective related theories embrace the effectiveness. The classical perspective theories embrace the efficiency. But we have to consider both. That's why I said we can't forget the classical theories. If so, we can't achieve the efficiency. But without considering humanistic theories, concepts, managers cannot enhance the effectiveness. Right. Then how they can enhance the effectiveness using this behavioral science perspective? Through this, they can know how to cope with changes, how to improve interpersonal interactions, how to enhance problem solving capabilities, and how to manage stress, etc. in the workplace. It is not mentioned, you can write down that as well. Stress management. And yeah. Right. That's the end of the humanistic perspective, no? But it started that with the contribution of the early advocates like Mary Parker College and Chester Burnham. Then we went through the human relations perspective, where we considered the contribution of the author studies. Then human resource perspective, where we considered major motivational theories. Contribution of the major motivational theories. There we considered two of them. Maslow's hierarchy and the XY theory of Matrix. Then last part of the humanistic perspective was done with the behavioral science. Yeah, we identified the role of OB and the key topic in OB, organizational development. OD. Right. To cope with the issues like change management, interpersonal relations, problem solving, and so on, and risk management. Right. Then there's another one remaining under the early historical trend basket. What is that? Quantitative perspective. So management science perspective. Where the mathematics, statistics, quantitative techniques. Now those are used with the modern computer packages or AI applications. Right? Then nice software packages are there, no? Managers to feed data and even to get the results. Analysis is done by the software. Now with AI applications, even they can interpret the results. They can give the decisions also for the managers. The managers can copy it. But sometimes they are cheating. AI cheats decision makers. No? We can 100% rely on it. Human orientation cannot be replaced, no, at 100%. Whatever the technology comes in, there should be a human brain is valuable in future also. We can't replace them fully. Then need not to worry about these challenges, no? You keep it up, continue your journey. You cannot be replaced by a technology at all. No? But you should know, we should not worry about the AI, no? Chat GPT. We have to use them. We have to ask students to use, but we have to cross-check whether the students have used their own brain to analyze the things and to come up with the conclusions. That's what foreign universities, they ask students to use it, but we try to prevent it, block them using those new technologies. But we have to allow students to use these, whatever the things. Then while doing that, we have to cross-check. We have to change our teaching learning methods, evaluation methods. Sorry, quantitative perspective or management science perspective. As I mentioned, this emerged manages to address complicated or very complex managerial problems getting the help of these subjects. As I mentioned now, today not only these subjects but the modern computer software ICT applications help managers to get the results. Then they can easily interpret and make the final decisions using their brain and their experiences, intuitions, creative innovations, all should be used. Even they can delegate some of these decision-making activities to other managers, even to employees. So then, as a team, they can come up with the solutions. That is called open book management. Open book management. Open book management, and controlling, we will describe the open book management, then balance scorecard, etc. Right, then as some major disciplines, we can consider operation research, OR, operations management, OM, then ICT, under the management science approach or quantitative approach perspective. Then I am not going to describe them. You are knowing these better than me, no? Under chartered and other programs, these were highly used. The early part of the program, no? These were used. These are included as subjects like business mathematics, business statistics, quantitative techniques, operational research. By the same names, there are subjects in all programs. In that business analytics programs recently introduced by Sri Lanka had a lot of such quantitative methods. But in new names, big data analytics likewise, neural networks. In HR also, marketing, those techniques are used, no? Then they call HR analytics, marketing analytics, likewise, no? At all functional levels, these techniques can be used to measure their functions. In production also, there can be analytic tools, no? Like production analytics or manufacturing analytics. ERP packages are used at the overall level, no? At the overall levels to cover all activities, no? Like purchase, logistics, supply chain, marketing, HR, ERP, or SAP ERP. A lot of Sri Lankan firms are using SAP ERP. Even our universities start as a service organization. Right. Then these other elements are under OR we can consider mathematical models, no, and other quantitative techniques to help managerial problems. Under OM, managers can use quantitative techniques to solve problems like forecasting, inventory management, linear programming, queen theory. Bankers can use that, no? Queen theory. Scheduling, simulation, break-even analysis are some examples of those techniques. Right. Then using ICT, a lot of things can be done, no? Right. Yeah, the cost estimation, production planning, project management, resource allocation, scheduling, then analytics, big data applications, all can be used with ICT. Right. Then all these should be combined together under the quantitative technique, quantitative perspective or management science perspective. It is all, that's why it is considered under the early historical trends. But now we have to use new packages. New packages to deal with them. In accounting also there are many packages. No, earlier I remember most local firms use QuickBooks. Still are they using QuickBooks? Right. There are new usability, no more usability accounting packages. All these are examples for the applications of management science. Right, then the things group under the first basket is now over. Over. Now we have to consider move to the other basket. The recent historical trends. It starts with the system theory. Therefore, system theory is not that new, no, very old, but still we can consider that as the one change our thinking from the early trends to the recent trends. Therefore, that is number one. Right. Then I said that you can understand the management process also, no, based on the system theory. Right. Then there's a model also for the system theory. All systems are open systems. You don't see closed systems. No? Those are only imaginations. Right. To study look at the system thinking or system perspective, we have to consider these keywords mentioned in the red color. System thinking should be known. That means having the ability, no, to see the different elements in a system or a situation, right, as a complex as well as changing, interacting elements within the external environment. Right. That's the system thinking. Then in system thinking, we have to consider these terms. The system, we have to define a system. System is a set of interrelated parts that function as a whole to achieve a common purpose. Good example is the organization or a family or a business organization. Right. Then our human body is another example. A tree is another example. Right. Our human body is also a system, no? Biological system. Tree is also a biological system. An animal. Right. Those are live systems. Others are not live, but assumed to be legally live. Right. In a system, there are subsystems, no, as parts of the system. Right. In an organization, there can be different departments, no, departments or divisions. They can be considered as subsystems. Right. In the system diagram, there are even planning, organizing, controlling. leading 4 functions can be considered as subsystems for some elements. Right. Then the collection of subsystems should be used to enhance the or achieve the synergy. Right. To achieve the greater results than the sum of them. Right. That is for synergy. If we take a small square in a row, then these hundreds of thousands of square can be considered as the subsystems or sub-elements. When they flock together, we can have a row. Then using the row, anything can be possible. No? Giant works, big works can be done. Even a ship can be controlled, no part. Right. That's the meaning behind the synergy. It says the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Some of its parts are similar to the small square. Right. The whole is similar to the row. Right. Using the row, anything can be done. Any task can be done. Which cannot be done if we take them part by part, no, as a small part. Nothing can be done. You can look at it. Right. Therefore, a similar idea is applied for the teamwork, power of teamwork force. Right. Then compared to groups, we will describe this under group and team in leading. Compared to group work, teamwork is more powerful. They can achieve the synergy. More results can be achieved through the teamwork. But teams are in groups. We can separate these two. Both are in an organization. Naturally, both are there. Then when we consider this group, this whole class, right, together, this is a group. That's the set. But we form teams, no? For our assignment, didn't we form teams? Then we have to do that. Because assignment was communicated now, even from that day. You should know that your team. We didn't do that, no? I missed that. Then for another subject, have you formed teams? No. Those lecturers have not communicated the assignment, team assignment. Then we have to form. Then there are a lot of many ways of forming teams. As one, this is a rational one. I can follow the register, your name list. It is a rational and objective, not subjective. Or I can ask you to have your teams volunteer with your relations. If so, it is subjective. What is better? Can we use the objective method? Now I can see the signatures. On the last day and today, the equal signatures are there. If there are newcomers, then I will ask them to form a team or teams later. Then online members can have their own team, no? But sometimes would they come to the physical class, or some physical members in the physical class would come via teams online? Would it happen? No. Right, then online members can have even 2 members are enough to have a team, theoretically. There should be 2 or more members. Maximum would be 5. Otherwise, there can be a military line. So, if there are members more than 5, nothing would happen. It's a burden to the leaders. The leaders. Depending on this class size, overall class size, better to have at least a 4 member teams. We will have 5 member teams. Sometimes there can be absent members. Right, then with this concept, now I happen to talk on this. Otherwise, you will pass the weeks. Then you will blame me. I didn't instruct on forming things. Right, then objectively shall we, I'll read out the names of 5 members one by one. Then you can consider to which team you belong. Right. Then Veera Singh, Chanika, this is the experience. Today Sunday, right? Both columns are here. Veera Singh, Chanika is absent today. But on the next day she will come now. Right, then we will take that. Otherwise she cannot find the team. I will use first day presentations. Veera Singh, Chanika, Ramukkana, Vineka, and Jayasingh, IR Jayasingh, are in one team. You know the names, no? You heard the names, no? Then if all are not here today, accommodate them for your team. Then who is going to be the leader for this assignment only? In another assignment, change the leadership. Give the leadership to another member. Then all can hold the leadership across different subject assignments. For this, can you be the leader? Yeah, being the leader, need not to do the things. You can enjoy, feel it, but you have to communicate and coordinate the things. Get the task done. Reminding, communicating, those should be done. Communication is number one. Right. Then I said IR gas because Ramuk Payanga was absent even today. No? He's not coming. Things are not coming. Right, then ND Jayasingh, you would be the leader then. There should be female leaders also. Otherwise, I am biased for males. Right. ND Jayasingh, then Veerapon, Madhushani today is absent, but you can remember. Samarapon, then Saman Malik. Then you have 5, no? 5. I in your team. Right. Then third one, third team. Kavodya, today you are here on the first day, you are absent. TT Jayasingh. Who is there? TT. Then you are the first female leader in the third team. Then Sudarshan, right, sorry. Then Abhipru and DNAG are the other 5 members in third team. Right. Then Bandara, the MC Bandara, you would be the team leader, right? Of the fourth term. Bandara and Fomo are Gautam, Attidia, then Pushpakumara and Khalid are in the team 5. Right, then MJ Ahmed, absent today, no? He presented on first day, then better to consider him also in the team 6. Then Randika, you would be the leader for team 6. Then I inform Ahmed also to be a member, right? Then Hasib, then Jayakumar and Gunaratna, LN Gunaratna. Then you had 5, no? Right. Then there are 3 newcomers today and another 1 remaining from the last day also. Then, but right now there are 4 members, right? In your team. Then get another one also. Or you can continue with that. Or is the ideal one for this class. Right. First one presented on last day also. Kalashini, you can be the leader, right, for this team. Then others I can't. Soisa, These are pending letters. Ediri Singha, Soisa, and Valigamagi. But you have 4 members now. Then altogether we form now 8 teams, 7 or 8, maybe 8. Then follow these team numbers, serial numbers to indicate your team. Team 1, 2, use these numbers. Right, then from today, the leaders can communicate and organize the task. Then first we have to do the fact finding, information finding. You referring some managerial materials. Maybe you can use managerial textbooks. I have also uploaded about 4 books, no? E-books. You can use them or some other textbooks or journal articles and even internet citations can be used. Whatever you read and borrow, you have to, acknowledge them if they are in the citations. Right. Then the cited things should be fully disclosed in a reference list file. Right. For that, you follow APS guidelines, American Psychological Association writing guidelines. Right. To understand more on APA, you can Google and download one information site on APA and read. This is not a research paper, small assignment. Only the basic writing adherence should be done. Mainly, you should know how to cite one author's work in your body, and one cited that should be fully disclosed. No? So give that information in a line by line. And finally, using that word sorting task, sorting activity, you can highlight the whole reference page or pages and sort them with the alphabetical order. It will come natural automatically with the first and second letters of the surname of the author. It can be done. Right, then after finding the fact, give the typing job also to the same one. Right, then you have to share the concepts. We had how many concepts? 10, eh? 10 concepts, no? For the assignment. This assignment, team assignment is about first preparing the concept book. Then after that only you can do the oral presentation on the last day with the same team members. Right. Then I think I have given 10 concepts, no? Then 2 by 2, the 5 members can share. Even leader also can have better to do that. Leader also can have. Otherwise, he or she cannot develop that task. Fact finding and typing. But finally, whatever you type, write in pages, then everybody should compromise to improve the flow of writing based on the guidelines I have given in the course outline. At least maximum 2 pages should be used at the length of the contents for one concept. At the end, the body part can be organized around 20 pages, but it can be exceeded by 1 or 2 pages, or less than 1 or 2 pages from 20. Right. Then first try to consider some usable materials. For your work, I have also uploaded 4 ebooks to the LMS. You can use them. Then here no live, in CS Lanka at the Mala Center, there's a live. You can refer some management books also, the hard copies. Then following the format, one who got the materials of 1, 2 concepts can type. When all members are typing, then you will get the body. But you have to cross-check whether your contents are meeting the guidelines given in the course outline. Cross-check then after that, not meeting, you have to edit them, improve them. But when different people are writing, using the same English language, there can be, mismatches, differences in the flow. Then the team leader can ask the most fluent, English fluent one to improve that. Then you all can learn mutually. You all can improve skills also mutually. That's the idea behind the teamwork. The synergy can be achieved. Synergy means the new learning. Next skills. Right. Then you can do greater things in the team assignment than you do individually. Right? Because each one is different, no, in capacities and skills. Then in the teamwork, those can be accommodated. Right? Combined. Then everybody can learn. Once you present those things in different teams in the class, the entire audience can learn. That's the power of teamwork. They are synergy. Mentioned in the system theory, final aim can be achieved. Okay, now. Then fortunately I finished that part also my responsibility. But even after a week. Now you all know, but better to write down now. You don't have a copy of the register, but you heard the first name. Right. Then now write down the first name. On the next day, in the assignment also you have to have the team list with the formal names and registration numbers. Then you can fill that later. Otherwise, I can't allocate individual marks. I have to see the team list and the formal details given there. Otherwise, I can't allocate marks for the report as well as the marks for the oral presentation. And this is the diagram used to understand the elements and the pattern of an open system theory. A similar one was noted in the management process part in the introduction. But this is somewhat different, no? But yeah, then these are the 5 elements required to be in an open system model. First one is the environment. That is actually the external environment. External environment. It is out of the organization's boundary. Even today, at the very beginning, we noted the key 6 elements in the external environment. Started with the globalization forces, ended with the natural forces. Right. The internal environment is in the inside. That is the organization. Therefore, that should be corrected as external environment. External environment. Oh, most writers call this as invariably as environment. Right. But inside, it says about the external environment. No? All the elements outside the system or outside the organization. That means the external environment. It has both the task environment and macro environment. But macro environmental forces are considered as trends. That's why we only considered them at the beginning of this lesson, at the start of this lesson. Right, then you have to correct that as I downloaded this from the internet. It is not much reliable, right? Like AI, not always reliable. Right, external environment. All the elements outside the system or the organization that have the potential, not regular effect, that has the potential or timely effect to all parts in the system. Right, then second one is the inputs or resources taken from the external environment. Now correctly used, external environment. Right. Third one is the conversion process or the throughput. In the management process, we considered planning, organizing, leading and controlling 4 functions as the process. Right. Similar things can be considered, but there are some other organizational processes also in this, not only the management process. In this subject, we mainly consider the management process, but there are some other organizational processes also. technology, etc. Right. Then the fourth one is the result, output or the performance. The work of the system or the output results going back to the external environment. Yeah, we have to use external. Right. But in the system theory, there is another one. Otherwise, it cannot learn and do improvements over and over. What is that? Feedback. All right. A continuing source of information concerning the relationship with the external environment used to make the necessary changes in order to survive and grow up. That is done with the feedback or the evaluation. Right. It is done in controlling action. But in the system model, it comes separated as another separate element. Last one, feedback. That is the fifth element that ensures the true learning, continuous learning of the system organization to ensure its survival and grow up in the environment or in the market. Therefore, this idea is somewhat new, no? You feel the newness. That's why it is considered as the first of the recent historical trends, system thinking. Right. These are then next to the system theory, we have to consider the situational perspective or situational view or the contingency view. Because the other perspectives did not consider this one. This only considered this one. Need of this. What is the need of that? We should assume that each managers, definitely these are lessons given for the managers. Right. You are the management students to be future managers, good managers. Right. Then it assumes that each situation is unique. Unique means different. Each situation faced by managers over time is unique, different. Right. But there are similar situations also. Therefore, this should not be misunderstood. Right. Principles are not universal, but in FIO said those 14 principles are universal. And one learns about management by experiencing a large number of case-oriented problems and situations. Therefore, case method, or we have to identify situation problems case by case. That's the idea behind saying uniqueness. Situations are different, unique. Right. Therefore, managers face the task of determining what methods and techniques will work to match with the situation or to match with situations which are new, which are different. Right. Then we have to combine it presenting a diagram for the system perspective, contingency perspective or situational perspective. We can't forget the universalism, universal perspective. It has been based here, no? This is in this shape, universal view. There is one best way. Those universal theories or theories mentioned on the classical perspective can be used as the best method, one best methods to run businesses, to manage businesses. Therefore, we can't forget that. We have to have that understanding also, but to a certain level, to a limited level. Right. Therefore, it should be accepted. It should be placed here. Right. But as for this theory, all situations are not like, no, they are not similar. For similar situations, managers can use the similar strategies they have used in the past. But all situations are not similar. Then they have to change the focus. Right. Then they have to use the case by case analysis, case by case understanding. Right. Then that is presented in the reflection of this shape. Reflection of this shape. The inverse way. Right. Then it says every situation is unique. That's what mentioned here. That's the main focus of this perspective. But it doesn't say us to forget the classical perspective, the one-based method. Then we have to consider both simultaneously. Then it says that organizational phenomena exist in a logical pattern. Organizational phenomena means the prapancha or situation events can be experienced or can be analyzed in a logical pattern. Logical pattern means there are similarities and dissimilarities also, differences. Therefore, managers should use or devise and apply similar responses to similar problems and new responses to dissimilar, uncommon problems. That's all. It is not that difficult, no? It's a similar thing. We studied, no? But presented in a different way, new way, better way. Right. Then what's the key idea behind the contingency view, situational view in management? Managers will face similar problems or similar event as well as dissimilar of them, dissimilar problems. If they face similar problem situations compared to the past, then they can devise or they can use similar strategies as they have done in the past. Right. That is one part. Then they have to consider management as the universal thing, right. Common thing. But there are situations like pandemic is a very good example. We didn't expect, no, but it came. The entire world, for the entire world, it's a new thing, new problem, new situation. Then the consultants, even scholars, researchers said that we can't use the similar strategies to face a pandemic like a new problem. Then we have to use a different. Innovation is must. Right. That is mentioned in the other part. Therefore, managers devise new responses, apply new responses for the new problems, for dissimilar problems. It is not a new thing, no? Even as an average person, even a person in a village can easily understand. සමානේවට දෙන්න ඕනේ වෙනස් ඒවාට දෙන්න ඕනේ. Even a village. But these have been presented in a philosophical, the systematic way. That's the difference. Based on the research studies. All these have come from the West. Therefore, as Eastern people, we accept it happily in a divine way. Actually, if you go inside, these are not the new things, no? They are already known by us. Even our the Asian people, no, have done this. Our kings ruled the country in a similar way. That's why they have used different irrigation methods, no, to face to address the differences of the climate, seasons, or weather. Right. Even Siddhartha princes had three palaces, no? Ramya, Suramya, Subha. Then Suddhodana king understood the differences of the pattern of the weather climate. But he didn't stay there. He had another vision. No? I know Buddhism only, that's why I am sharing this. That is also very little. It's a philosophy, no? Not a religion actually, it's a philosophy. Right. Then these managerial concepts were already there in our ancient period, in the civilization eras. But now only we are in a new era, encountering the new changes. That's the only difference. Therefore, the things that we use in the past may not work. no, in the modern era, in a similar way. But we have to based on them. We have to based on them. ඒ කාලේ තිබිලා තියෙන අවසන් ගතනේ. කිව්ස ඒක තිබිලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මැලේරියා වගේ වගේ දැන් ඉපගෙනවා. Right, the managers face challenges to determine the strategies, methods that would work well in the new situation. That's the challenge. Right, but in doing that, these they cannot forget the past, no? Past and the things they use in the past. That gives a learning for the futures, for the present and futures. That's the hallmark of the contingency theory. You have to consider both the universalism and the newness, new perspectives altogether. To have new perspectives, what's the ideal view mentioned in this case by case view. Even an individual can be considered as a case. One individual worker can be a case. A group can be a case. An organization can be a case. A village can be a case. A city can be a case. A country can be a case. A region can be a case. Then there are different levels, no, to have unit of analysis of a case. First one is the individual level. To understand the worker behavior clearly, the managers should consider different workers at different cases. That's what mentioned in the aggregate XY theory. Then accordingly, managers should change the leadership over different individuals. For one, the authoritarian leadership would the best one. To another, the democratic leadership or participatory leadership style would be the best one. For the most matured one, the license or delegative style would be the best one. Right. Therefore, no one best way. But manager should compare them, no? Compare the worker capacities. For that purpose, they should use the classical XY theory introduced by McGregor under the humanistic perspective. Today also, I don't think we can do a case study. No time. The reason is this one. If I have used this one, I have done 2 cases up to now. I might be done 2 cases. Anyhow, we have to follow the technology. No? We are teaching this, and we have to incorporate the techniques. But better to do a management case after completing some lessons. Then only you can easily do this. This is very important. Today's one is very important to use your knowledge to analyze case, to identify problems there and to come up with the solutions for the identified problems in a case study. These theories, knowing these elements of theories is very important. Right. There are 2 others. This one is the recent historical trend is a continuous improvement of total quality management. This is actually my research area also. Right. The total quality management concepts were introduced by Western quality gurus like Edward Deming, Joseph Duran, Philip Crosby, and Pigeon Bone just after the Second World War II, but they were evolved from the Walter Sheward's ideas during 1920s. Walter Sheward has used Taylor's ideas, the classical ideas. We applied the statistical quality analysis method in the US industries, right, in 1920s. But these ideas were well systematically capitalized by Edward Deming, MIT statistician, with the statistical quality analysis method, quality control method. Right. Then Joseph Duran, Philip Crosby, Pigeon Bona, other Western quality gurus. The first two were invited to Japan after the Second World War to organize teaching seminars for the executives and engineers in Japan. They were banned to continue the shipbuilding and aircraft building after the defeat they had against America with the devastating missiles in Hiroshima and Nagasaki with the atomic bombs. Then, but they use a strategy to change the engineers and the capacity in automobiles after the Second World War. From early 1950s, then Levin and Duran taught statistical quality techniques to then Japanese managers and engineers. That's the landmark given to stay competitive in the world market by most Japanese companies, including Toyota. Nothing else, the application of the total quality management principles, but with the constant technological innovations and the HR, human resource management. Then, as a Japanese quality guru, Ishikawa, using quality control method, tried to adapt these Western methods to the Japanese way. That means Japanese to achieve the success from the Western knowledge. Even still, Japanese companies, most Japanese companies are doing the same. Especially the Toyota. That's the history of quality management. Then total quality management brings a total organization to apply quality management principles and to satisfy customers and other stakeholders continuously. Right. Some examples for the major total quality management or quality management principles are, most are going with the focus, customer focus, leadership focus, employee focus, process improvement focus, information management, global focus. Now, I like to use environmental focus also. Without that, companies cannot achieve the sustainable results. Right. Those are some examples for quality culture or continuous improvement culture. Leadership is the key driver for all these. There are many international quality frameworks like ISO 19001 and 2002 families and other standards of ISO. Then Borish model or American model. It is applied in Sri Lanka by SNSI, Sri Lanka Standard Institute, with the name Sri Lanka National Quality Award Model. It is almost the American model with 7 dimensions. Then others are Deming model applied in Japan to gratitude the massive work done by Deming in Japanese development. But any organization all over the world can apply for that, not only for Japanese firms. Other international reputed models are European model, European Business Excellence model, and Six Sigma. Even you can apply for Six Sigma qualification in different belts like karate belts, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, master belt as a qualification. Right. Then you can consult other organizations to improve quality, taking that qualification also. Six Sigma qualification. Right. Then these are some of the examples for the TQM element practices. Benchmarking, learning and benchmarking. But Japanese companies have been using Kaizen method, Kaizen or continuous improvement methods. Toyota is the pioneer. Now companies all over the world are using Kaizen and lean manufacturing, lean methods. Even Boeing company, General Electric, Ford companies, European giants like BMW, Audi, they are also using lean method. It started from Toyota. Even most Sri Lankan firms are using MAS, brandings, and they are using management management, they are using lean and Toyota ways. some more public hospitals in Sri Lanka also are using. At least 5 years. But we have 5 minutes more now. Before. Right. These are some other buzzwords to be seen under the subheading the technology-driven workplace next to TQM. Right. What are the buzzwords? CRM, SCM, outsourcing. Right. Are some of the new trends in the modern workplace. Right. Then the role of each has been mentioned here. Right. These are new techniques, no? Customer relationship management, supply relationship management, outsourcing. In other terms, these are some major quality management principles, no? Considered in TQM also. That's the end, no? End of the lesson. Right, then I'll give 2 revision questions to get into the I don't give a question for the influences we had. That could be in next lesson, environment lesson. Then I'll give 2 revision questions for this lesson. Right, write down this. These are exercises. First, you have to have the individual work, then have the team work if any doubts in your answer. Then if you have doubts further, then ask from us. First, the individual work is a must. Independence. After that, you have to have the dependency, interdependence. Don't depend on others. Right, first one. 2 are description type questions. Describe. Describe the early historical trends. Describe the early historical trends. In management, describe the early historical trends in management with appropriate examples. I should give about 20 marks, no, not 10. 20 marks. 20 marks. Describe the early historical trends in management with appropriate examples. You can have a part of the diagram. Yeah, not the full diagram, a part of that. Right. Then the other part can be presented in the answer of the next question. In a similar way, with a similar words, you can have the next question. Describe the recent historical trends. Describe the recent historical trends in management with appropriate examples. Describe the recent historical trends in management with appropriate examples. To stop, you can like 20 marks for that also. Don't reproduce the things in the handout. You can use the keywords and use your own words. Also. You can have the other part of the diagram to visualize the path. Then after that, the perspectives, major theories, ideas can be presented in a summary form. Right, then we will finish this discussion today. Online members were comfortable enough to grab these things. You also took down the 2 questions, revision questions I gave. Then you can continue your online team. If there are more members than 5, then the others can have another online team. But rightly, I think there are only members less than 5. then you can have your team now. Otherwise, you can't start your work. If these physical members are working, you would be idly there. To avoid that, from today, be aware of your online team members, and even via online, you have to face physical. Then you can use the same technology. But there should be a leader. I didn't recognize a leader here, volunteer leader for your team, and coordinate the task by that leader, right? On the next day, I will cross check this one again. How teams are working for your side. I will check that. Okay, thank you very much. You don't have any other questions for burning questions? Then we will back that. Thanks.